And in the touchlight every corner. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai. Them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder. My ego don't come. My people make we shout. My ego don't come. My ego don't come, man of the masses. My ego don't come. My ego die the political. My ego don't come. This one not day off in mind. My ego don't come. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Mayegun don't come. My people make you shout. Mayegun don't come. Man of the masses. My diary political. This man not day off in mind.
Oh, you do I call. Oh, Mary, oh, Nindizu, oh, Niria, Abakare, Mama Baora. Nandi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two. Now Python that's a three. Unaburi Mary Nandi. Nandi win the war. Python that's
My name is Nnamdi, and the reason why we're here today is to protest the killing of innocent women and children and men, for that matter, all over Nigeria, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. We are not happy, we are not pleased with what is happening, and that is why we're here today. As you can see, there are a lot of Nigerians who are protesting about the killing of families, people who are determined to tear the country apart violently, and it is not something that we support. It is not something that we would like to see continue, and we are here today to send a clear message to the Nigerian government through the High Commissioner that what is happening in the country is unacceptable and we cannot accept it. If that continues, it will lead to the violent disintegration of the country. There will be no more Nigeria for anyone to go to. There will be no Nigeria for anyone to refer to. In fact, what is happening in Somalia today will be like a tea party. So we cannot allow this nonsense to continue. Something has to be done, and the consequences of the actions of terrorism in Nigeria must be driven home to the people, so that even the terrorists themselves will be able to understand that there is no mileage in where they're going. The only thing they can accomplish is the breakup of Nigeria. If they think that they can cower people, if they think they can force people to be coerced into a religion which is not theirs, then they are clearly mistaken. We are asking for peace. We are asking for people to get together. We are asking for everybody who loves Nigeria, who is associated with that country, to please prevail upon terrorism in Nigeria so we can bring it to an end. That is why a multitude of Nigerians are gathered here today. Those of us in the UK are determined to work with the government for peace. We are determined to work with the international community for peace. The one thing we cannot stomach is a repeat of 1966. What is happening today in Nigeria was the reason why Nigeria fought a bitter civil war for 3 years between 1967 and 1970. If this continues, there will be another civil war in Nigeria. And this time around, no place will be safe in Nigeria. This time around, nobody will be safe in Nigeria. So it is imperative that everybody who has the interest of the country at heart acts now and immediately to stop this nonsense from continuing.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun, live.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Thank you so much for joining me. I know a lot of you have been waiting, and it's a pleasure to join you tonight from wherever you are watching from. So share this broadcast, like the broadcast, subscribe if you haven't already, and then sit back. Let's have a talk, let's have a conversation. I mean, rigging, violence, this and that happened during their elections. We can say they are all charades. The first part of the longer road to freedom, people call it, right? The first part of it has been completed or concluded, or whatever you want to call it. But this, this fraudulent, divisive election is leaving in its wake a divided or more divided country. But this particular election has also exposed the Igbophobia in Nigeria. I think it is time for us to talk about it again. I have never stopped talking about all of this anyway, but I know the tension is high. A lot of you are angry. In fact, now that you have come to realize how effed up Nigeria is, especially with these characters. The first 7.5 to 8 years of APC, we have seen the upscale, increased state-sponsored profiling of the Igbos. We've seen so many of these. We've seen them murdered, killed, jailed. And we have seen their elite laughing, obnobbing with the same system. However, for the first time, I want to give all of us a wake-up call. There is something looming in Nigeria. It is xenophobic. It is worse. It will consume all of us, including a lot of you who are hiding behind your bigotry right now, right? And we should talk about it at this point. If they cannot be president, if they cannot vote for who they want without anybody having to profile them, I think after this whole thing, it is ideal for everybody to have a conversation. And we're going to start it tonight. Yeah. Igbophobia. Repeat it. Igbophobia. It is so widespread, entrenched in Nigeria polity. If it is not addressed now, we will never come back from this.
Facebook. And yes, we like Lórí YouTube. And yes, we like Ọba bá gbé wúrẹ́. And yes, we like.
Thank you. Because of our time, because I really wish I'm going to take us tonight so that I can possibly, or we all can hear from others too. There is fire on the mountain. And I am calling on every one of us, or everybody who might come across this video, to run. There is fire on the mountain of Nigeria that the moment it starts burning, it will consume all of us, especially the fact that the tribal supremacy that the politicians in Nigeria have been using for years, this time around, it is, it has caught deep and deeper. Some of you probably may not really understand the significance of what happened in Lagos yesterday and what is still happening today. Rigging elections in Nigeria, as corrupt as Nigeria is not new. Blaming the Igbos, profiling them, suspecting them, and all of that, even when people say them in harsh tones, is also not new. In fact, if you are not an Igbo in Nigeria and you suddenly, or not suddenly, you are in a way disagree with what you know as a state profiling of the Igbo Easterners in Nigeria. When you profess that in Nigeria of today, the non-Igbos will see you as an outcast, even though if you are from them. The other Igbos who have been, well, I've told people many times, I said, if all of us who are not from the eastern part of Nigeria, if we should just turn the table and we are the one, right, who are on their side and they are on our side, what do I mean by that? 5 million people were killed needlessly simply because they want to force them to remain in Nigeria to face this shege that all of us are facing today. Now, 5 million people slaughtered, and those who killed them or initiated that and supervised that, rather than them to stand trial for that crime, they were rewarded with more higher offices in Nigeria. The victims were watching their murderers celebrating and clicking glasses of new promotion, new wealth, and their conqueror and all that. So Nigeria never healed from that. Rather than Nigeria to heal, rather than for those who are in charge of Nigeria to heal Nigeria, they banked on that misdeed. And from then till today, till now, majority of them have tried to mellow it, manage it, pretend about it, you know what I mean? And it comes up during elections once in a while. But you see what Tinubu and gang have done is going to be called Igbophobia 2.0. What does that mean? Boko Haram and his Fulani elite, the terrorist in his government, for reasons best known to them, they singled out the Igbos, despite the fact that they have Igbos in their party, in their government. But Buhari singled out the eastern part of Nigeria. They escalated insecurity in that part, just like what they did. It's a little bit different, but just like what they did that eventually led to the war, the genocide of Rwanda. That was fast, Mayego. You're talking about Buhari. Why do you quickly switch to Rwanda? I'll tell you. What Buhari is doing in eastern Nigeria in the last 7.5 years, the people they have killed, the people they have jailed, so many of them that have disappeared, they can't account for, all because they said the Biafra, the IPOB, indigenous people of Biafra, they are calling for referendum. They want to leave Nigeria. That's all they needed. That decision or that position is a threat to the political establishment of Eastern Nigeria, which is in alignment with the Nigeria establishment. So they gave way for Buhari. All they needed was just to call you something before they kill you or jail you, dehumanize you, militarize the Eastern Nigeria. But yet, you have battalion of army deployed to eastern part of Nigeria, and not even a single person has been tried successfully for any crime they have listed, and they have attached to IPOB themselves. You probably haven't been paying attention, or you have. You just kind of don't like him. If you don't like somebody, anything they say about him must be true. How do we make you fear that those who are asking for referendum, those who felt so marginalized, profiled, those who have been suffering Cold War in Nigeria, you thought they were overreacting? Abi, you thought they were playing victim until yesterday in Lagos. Or should I say, until Lagos, or until Tinubu said he wants to be president of Nigeria. Today, even Yorubas, they were calling Igbos overreacting. They are just to everything. Every time they complain, they should go back to their region and fix their region, ignoring the fact that that's exactly what they wanted.
go back to their region, develop their region, do their own thing their own way without Nigeria having to tell them how to do it. But the political establishment there love the status quo. Nigeria want the status quo, so then they won't go. Just call them anything. Call them this or that. Organized crime, sponsor criminals. Tell them to shout IPOB, IPOB, commit crime, so that you can use that to convince the people why you are going to civilian villages with civilian communities with aged men and women, disabled people, and you are slaughtering them in their homes because you are looking for IPOB. All of this were carried out in 7 years. 8 years. They have killed thousands of people. That is Bokoari, Igbophobia, 1.0. Buhari divided Nigeria more, and APC, Egbekegbe, they spend so much money on propaganda that their members, their sympathizers, they present a picture of they are so scared of IPOB more than they are scared of Boko Haram. Can you believe that? Even a governor said, Boko Haram, Fulani terrorists, they are better than IPOB. They said, why? He said, well, they are criminals, no doubt. Okay? But they are not trying to break up Nigeria. But IPOB, they want to break up Nigeria. That is unacceptable. Why is it unacceptable? Then you now label your campaign simply because somebody, like everybody else, we are all Nigerians. We are all Nigerians. We should unite. We should come together. Unity beggars. One man, one vote. Democracy. We are all Nigerians. We are free to go to anywhere we want. Lórí irọ́. Then a Nigerian from Igbo land decided to run for office. Immediately, that puts every Igbo man and woman alive on earth, put them in the danger list. Some of them don't even support this man. Oh, as an Igbo man, right? They don't even support it. They don't support him for their own reasons. But the fact that he is standing, that automatically triggered Igbophobia 2.0 to the point that a Yoruba young man was aggressively presented as an Igbo who is leading the Igbo to come and take over Yoruba land. The Igbophobia got to a point that even Yorubas, they said they look like Igbo. Therefore, they are outcast. They are not welcome to participate in the elections. We should be worried.
Ó di ọ̀dàlẹ̀ fún ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀, ó di ọ̀dàlẹ̀ fún neighbor ẹ̀, ó di ọ̀dàlẹ̀ fún classmate ẹ̀. Ó di gba politics, ó fẹ́ kàn pa ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ nítorí kò ń ṣe Yorùbá. Wàá dẹ̀ lọ sílé ìjọsìn ẹ ní ọjọ́ Friday àtọjọ́ Sunday, wàá lọ tẹríba fún ẹni tí wọ́n ń sìn. Ta ló wá ń tàn báyìí, ta ló ń gbé mọ́ra, ta ló ń run street fún. Ìwọ di ọ̀dàlẹ̀, ìwọ tí wọ́n jẹ́ èèyàn, ìmí inú yín gan ò jọ ọmọ Yorùbá. Tí wọ́n bá ra yín gbá, ẹ rò pé Igbo nìkan lẹ fẹ́ pa àbí? Ìmí inú yín gan, ó sì máa kàn ẹ́, ó sì máa kàn ẹ́, ó sì máa tàbà ẹ́. Ṣeṣẹ́ tí Ọlọ́run tí wọ́n ń sìn ran ẹ nìyẹn. Torí ọ̀la jẹ́ Sunday àbí ọjọ́ ìsinmi, ó tún máa lọ wólẹ̀ wá ké wájú Ọlọ́run, wá yí bíríbíríbírí wá ní who has the final say, àbó kú iṣẹ́. But neighbor ẹ àti classmate ẹ, ìwọ ló fẹ́ kàn rí wọn pa lójú títì. Ìwọ ló ń nàka sí wọn, ló ń pè wọn lọ́mọ Igbo, kú iṣẹ́. ìgbàgbọ́ tí wọ́n gbé mì ṣé nǹkan tó ń rán ẹ nìyẹn ṣé nǹkan tí prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam àti Jésù Kristi rán wọ nìyẹn nǹkan tó ń rán ẹ nìyẹn ẹ jẹ́ ká máa sọ òótọ́ fúnra wa nǹkan tí mo ṣe ń ṣèdè sí ẹ nìyẹn o ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ òótọ́ fúnra wa o nǹkan tó gbé rán wa kọ́ leléyìí nǹkan tó ń rán wa ń ṣẹ́ kọ́ leléyìí báwo lo ṣe máa ní ọmọ ẹlòmíì lára kí ni ìwọ ṣe tí wọ́n fi jẹ́ Yorùbá kí lo ṣe tó fi jẹ́ Yorùbá ṣé ìwọ ló yan àwọn tó bí ẹni tó fi wá fẹ́ máa lépa ẹ̀mí èèyàn míì ẹ jẹ́ ká fi àwọn ìwà yìí lẹ̀ ìwà ọ̀dàlẹ̀ gangan ló ń hù yẹ ọ̀dàlẹ̀ sí èèyàn ló ń hù yẹ gangan ìwà ọ̀dàlẹ̀ lélẹ̀ tí o fẹ́ máa da ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ o fẹ́ máa da neighbor ẹ̀ o fẹ́ máa da classmate ẹ̀ so àtọjọ́ yìí o ti ń dúró láti dà wọ́n àbí Mr. Ṣẹ́gun Judas Iscariot Dayo Judas Iscariot Kọ́lá Judas Iscariot ẹ kú iṣẹ́ gbogbo yín là ń rí ẹ jẹ́ ká fa àwọn ìwà yìí lẹ̀ o ẹ lè máa pa èèyàn nítorí pé kò ń ṣe àwọn aráàlú ẹ̀ a lè máa ṣèkà fáwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa a lè máa ṣèkà fáwọn tá à ń bá ṣiṣẹ́ kí ló le tó yẹ gangan náà bó ṣe ń lọ ilé ìjọsìn lọ́la tó bá ti nẹ́ní bọ́dì tó ní sínú tó ti ṣèkà fún kó ti lọ tọrọ ìdáríjì ò tó 2023 yìí ó lóyún ó dẹ̀ máa gbéra tó bá dẹ̀ gbéra báyìí ó máa taba ẹni tó bá lọ ṣe ẹni àwọ̀ kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan náà àwa náà la máa sọ pé a ní orúkọ àwa náà la máa sọ pé a níwà àwa náà la máa sọ pé orúkọ kan dájú fàdákà kan lọ kìnnìkan ẹ wo wa tá à ń gbé síta ṣọ́wọ́ Yorùbá ló yẹ kán ti bá eléyìí ṣọ́wọ́ wa ló yẹ kán ti bá eléyìí ìwọ fẹ́ kán pa ọmọ Ìgbò ìwọ tí mò ń wò ìwọ fẹ́ kán pa ọmọ Ìgbò àbí.
Sorry if you are non-Yoruba speaking viewer. I'll tell you what she said. She experienced Igbophobia in Lagos yesterday. She's a doctor and she's Yoruba. Born, raised and bred in Lagos. But when the thugs cited her, somebody in the crowd pointed at her that she is not going to vote for APC. She's obedient. Finally, she is not Yoruba, she is Igbo. So why did I mention Rwanda earlier? What happened in Lagos yesterday was exactly the beginning of the killings of over 100,000 Hutus and Tutsis. So that lady said she witnessed people, neighbors, pointing at other neighbors to be attacked and killed by the APC thugs in Lagos yesterday. That it was so bad that they were also profiling Yorubas. And they were telling them to, and they are telling it to their faces that you are not Yoruba. If that you can speak Yoruba doesn't make you Yoruba. Oh, because you have Yoruba name. So because you have Yoruba name now, that makes you Yoruba. No, we don't believe you are Yoruba. Get out of here. Some of you are Yoruba outcast self. You are not real Yoruba. Just get out of here. We don't want you here. So that's what happened in Rwanda. After all the journey of races or ethnic and all that, or tribes in Rwanda, you have the Tutsis, you have the Hutus, and then you have you have about 4 of them. But the majority, the Tutsis, about 70% of the population. Then the Hutus. So the Tutsis were given the power to be like, they were like superior, they feel more like powerful and all that, to the point that in Rwanda, they had to issue identification cards to them that describes where they come from. Sure, you get, like in Nigeria now, you have what they say, if Nigeria is one, why do you have to keep saying one Nigeria, one Nigeria? Why don't you just say Nigeria?
It's because there's no one Nigeria. So you say one Nigeria. But meanwhile, on the identification card that the government of Nigeria, the state governments in Nigeria, and all them are printing, they are to tell and kind of describe you where you come from. And they call them state of origin. So which means you might be a Nigerian, okay? But as much as Nigeria doesn't really exist, okay, you are just going to exist based on the classification. And in Nigeria context, the Igbos were classified as third-class citizens in Nigeria by everything. Everything you see with the Igbos, they heard it too. And some of you are complaining, we have no bad road, we have this terrible road. They cannot fix Lagos-Ibadan expressway. This train, the train they gave you, that train is locomotive. All those things you complain about. Oh, we don't even have electricity. We only have electricity 10 hours a day. All those things, in Eastern Nigeria, they are luxury. Oh, government should build houses. Government should build schools. In Eastern part of Nigeria, they build things themselves. As we would drag the federal government of Nigeria, drag anybody where they there, whether na Yoruba or whether na we don't give a damn. As you can freely drag them, the Igbos can't. Every time they are tempted to, they will be told they should not start what they don't want to. Do they want another war? Anything. When Igbos try to have a conversation to say, oh yeah, as Nigerians, we have to, the other person watching him will be like, though you better be careful. Though you better don't start. Because they are not saying. I am saying this to you, not to patronize any of you, Igbos, if you are watching me right now. Because none of this is in anybody's interest. In fact, for those of us who are Omoluabis, we should be more worried at what is actually now existing and spreading within us. You know what they are saying? They said we are too accommodating. Yorubas are too gentle. Yorubas are this. We need to change that. We need to become xenophobic. That is the new Yoruba they are promoting. But in the process of doing that, this is where blood classification will come from. In the process of trying to shut the Igbos, they are now doing blood classification in Yoruba land. Oh, we are too accommodating. What happened to my daughter then? If we are just too accommodating and then her mother is Igbo. We don't know. We don't, because they don't care. They don't think it through. They are just regurgitating or repeating what the criminal politicians who kept us poor give us a miseducation. Do you get that? They got us miseducated, right? They got us economically disempowered. They did all of this to our young people so as to limit their ability to challenge situation that doesn't really befit humans. So when they talk, let me tell you something. We were then asking, hang on. If the situation we have found ourselves right now is that the Igbos are kind of walking threats to non-Igbos in Nigeria. Here is another one. Why everybody should be concerned, even if you are not Igbo. Let me show you something. This particular image is a screenshot of a tweet from the spokesperson for Tinubu's presidential campaign, Bayo Ononuga. Now, Bayo Ononuga happened to be one of the the manufacturing hub of any propaganda you see against the Igbos. since this their presidential charade started. They are part of those who cook up different propagandas. Igbos this, Igbos that. Are you with me? And they dish them out on WhatsApp, every platform in the last 1 year. Now that what they did in Lagos yesterday has been done, it seems that they are not done with the Igbos. So look at this guy. A young man who has been living in Lagos got attacked yesterday. They broke his leg. They almost killed him, and at this point they said, you see this leg? They will likely amputate the leg. Now, with what they did in Lagos yesterday, and with what the likes of Bayo Ononuga from Ijebu, this person is from Ogun State, okay? From my own state. It's actually from my side, Ijebu, Ononuga. But with the tokenism and then whatever he's getting from Tifnumbu, he tweeted, he said, let 2023 be the last time of Igbo interference in Lagos politics. Nigeria says Igbos are Nigerians. They can vote and be voted for as Nigerians. But if you think the Igbos suffered anything, suffered under this APC Bokwari, now this is what you are. You should be looking forward to. Because an Igbo man said he wants to be president, automatically, like I said, change to this. And their popular line is, the Igbos said, Lagos is no man's land. Do you all watching me right now want to know something? APC is evil. And I mean this with every sincerity in me. APC is so evil that I don't know how I can actually explain that to you. But take a look at something. They have Igbos in their party. Joe Igbokwe is in Lagos, is Igbo. Yeah? However, with the level of bigotry, hatred that the likes of Bayo Ononuga, Festus Keyamo, Femi Foni Kayode, Dele Alake, and the rest of them. Now, look at this. They believe that everyone from eastern part of Nigeria is Igbo. Everyone who, whether you are from Niger Delta of Nigeria, to some of these bigoted, miseducated, and poor young Yorubas, you are all Igbos. I said that yesterday, didn't I? Now, before the election, look at this guy, Dr. Olusegun or so. I think they said that he lives in the UK. Sure you get now. He lives in the UK. So he said, when we take Lagos back, it's a Bano market. Me, I want to. Remember that during the Civil War, when the Igbos had to hurriedly leave the other part of Nigeria to Igbo land, they couldn't take their properties. And you know what happened? Some of these children, probably not born, they were not born then, or maybe they were told that despite some Yorubas returning the properties back to the Igbos, the majority of those properties were never returned, simply because the owners never returned back to Lagos, and they were considered to have died. And, in fact, historically, there are so many Lagos millionaires today, families, or popular names in Lagos today, that the properties that actually gave them the wealth that their children inherited came from the same Biafra war of the abandoned property. They call them abandoned properties, which were later redistributed to some of those who had the political connections at the time in Yoruba land in Lagos. This is true story, right? Now look at these young ones who are now growing up. Some of them are older. Sure you get. They believe that every property, and they're wondering, by the way, there's something going on that some of you probably have not noticed, or maybe you have, and I'm just going to remind you. There is this general saying by these jobless Lagos Abobakus, entitled Lagos Abobakus. Tifnumbu gave Igbos everything in Lagos. He feed them, he clothed them, he gave them houses, and he made them billionaires. And I'm like, 24 years. So every time they walk around Lagos, where some of them who used to be children of homeowners in Lagos, and who have decided to sell off their parents' properties to the Igbos who have the money. And when they walk about and see this plaza here, and they see this multi-story building apartments here, and you know what I mean? And they remember what they have lost. I think a lot of them, that if Numbu couldn't give food to, give clothing, and give money and make billionaire Yorubas. But the Igbos that traveled from far to Lagos, according to them, they were able to work, save, and invest in the same Lagos where they are paying their taxes. Now, the children that the political class in Lagos prefer to raise as thugs, political thugs, that they give crumbs to, maybe after an election like that, when they walk about, frustrated in frustration, they are sad and jealous. Now look at this place. So this whole street is now owned by the Igbos. This particular street is now owned by the Igbos, as if to say the Igbos put gun in their heads and they took their properties. So when they now try to project that on the rest of the Yorubas, because you know what? There are hardworking Yorubas who are also billionaires, who made their money legitimately in Yoruba land. A lot of them are watching right now, and they are so sad where this whole thing is going. Because it's only those who are jobless, lazy, entitled, who feels like as Yorubas, they were not supposed to be suffering. As Yorubas, they were not supposed to be homeless. As Yorubas, they were not supposed to be struggling. As Yorubas, they were not supposed to be jobless in Lagos. As Yorubas, they are not supposed to be poor. But they are poor. They are jobless. They are frustrated. They look around and they are wondering, how could the Igbos buy all of this? And our leaders are not doing anything. What do you want your leaders to do? You are selling your properties. You are selling your inheritance. You are selling your land. The Agberos that are selling the land, they prefer to sell them to the Igbos, sell them to the Lebanese, sell them to Dangote. They won't even empower you with the land. So if there is something that is actually happening, that they are projecting in the name of Yoruba, it is a jealousy of entitled, lazy people that are listening to criminals who made them poor, but they have nobody to blame. They are not bold enough to blame the people who made them poor. So they look for somebody else. And some reason. Do you know that those who are promoting Lagos is no man's land, Lagos is no man's land, Lagos is no man's land on social media, especially in the last 1 year, they have been these jobless Lagos Abobakus. Majority of them are Yorubas. So many of them are not paid. They just open different fake accounts on social media. Uchechuku, IPOP, IPOB, Biafra, Chinedu. And all these names that some of you are engaging on social media in the last 1 year. I can tell you this for free. They are those who have been baiting you. And it worked. Not that it's made them win election. Oh. You know they rigged that, Abi, violently and all that, Abi. But they did more damages than rigging elections. They have rigged our long-held, historical, peaceful coexistence. That's what they have done. And the ripple effect of that is going to last longer than what they have done, because you see all those fake names on social media, fake profiles with Nnamdi Kanu picture, a IPOB flag, and all of these things, who are instigating this tribal bigotry mostly. Like, you will see the Yoruba, you come there and say something, then you just suddenly see all these fake accounts with Igbo names, with all these funny names. They will start making all these remarks to bait a lot of you out. And it worked. Today, relationships are being severed. Long love, long relationship are being cut off. And guess what? Why? Because they are Igbo or Yoruba. I can never do anything with any Yoruba in my life again. I can never do anything with any Igbo in my life again. So it worked, didn't it? It worked. And that is our one-way ticket to Rwanda. Some said it's our one-way ticket to Somalia. We are already in Somalia. Rwanda is where we are going to come true and honest that APC, they have awoken. They've woken up the beast in our people. Weaponized poverty with some gingered tribalism that has no clear base or basis until we start killing ourselves. Until we start killing ourselves. They've gotten what they wanted. They've rigged it. They said, go to court. They've gotten what they wanted. So you can deal with yourselves. So then I'm saying, if they have now woken the beast in us, that those of you who have been waiting for a time to speak your mind about Yoruba people, you have now spoken them. Those of you who have been waiting for the time to speak your truths, how you really feel about the Igbos, APC has given you the chance. Do you want to go back to we are one, we should forgive and forget and go on after all of this? Is that what you want to go back to? To live in that denial? Let's forget the whole thing. We are brothers and sisters. It's only the politicians that want to divide us. We know. And you have helped them. It's done. If we don't force the hand of these rogues to start having that conversation about Nigeria, we are going to wake up to something that we won't be able to reverse. The level of bigotry because of election, the level of hatred, the level of attacks, killings. A majority of them is because they feel like they are doing it to save Yoruba land from some people who are coming to take the land from them. Which land? The one that you don't even have any control of any piece of it. So isn't it better for us to start talking about the breaking up of Nigeria now? Igbo politicians, Igbo elite, all of you in bed with one Nigeria, your businesses outside Igbo land, I think it is time for you to start telling yourself the truth. You know how the Jews survived. I read about them. Listen, my own account of what I'm going to say, okay, is just going to be in context of what I'm actually presenting to you. So it doesn't have to be like word for word of what the Jews, what they did, right? How did the Jews survive? Especially after the Second World War. I'm sorry, after the First World War, before the Second World War, then after the Second World War. When it became so much like being a Jew is like a curse, like you're an outcast. They've told so many things about them. And wherever they go, they are treated with scorn, disrespect, and so on. And what happened? The Jews, they ended up scattered, trying to find safety. The Jews, historically, they said they love to comply even when they are being oppressed, when they've done nothing. They kind of learn to comply so as to stay alive. Sometimes they will have to hide because they don't want to confront their fear. So they ended up scattered all over the world. Yet, everywhere they were, they are still haunted. And they were still treated like you could kill one. You could kill any Jew. Nothing will happen. Like, you know what I mean? Just like these fanatic people from northern Nigeria. Yeah, we kill you in the name of Islam. Nothing will happen. Because according to them, if you are not a Muslim, an infidel, you're just a filth. The world will not miss you. So when the world presents people that way, it is so difficult to belong to that because none of us actually choose, or none of us chooses where to be born. I didn't choose to be born a Yoruba man and a Jebu man from Nigeria. A lot of you were not choosing. None of us. In fact, when I was growing up, I remember sometimes when I get frustrated as a young person, I would scream, Allah, if I want to come back to this world again, God, I don't want to come back to Nigeria. I want to be reincarnated in America. I want to be reincarnated in London. When I was younger, when we started seeing how bad Nigeria was on us as young people, we do wish that we would be like, I wish I was born in America. We've never been there, but we've heard a lot about America. Oh, I wish I was born in Canada, not this Nigeria. But that means we couldn't choose where to be born. That means we couldn't choose what and where or family to be born into. We are just that piece of surviving sperm and egg out of millions of them that fought the battle during intercourse. We are just the lucky surviving sperm. And then it happened. We came here and they said, oh, you are Yoruba. I'm a Yoruba man. Yes, you should be proud. I'm a Christian. Oh, Lord, I love you. Well, when the word describes you this way and then endangers you, when it is actually not your choice or by your choosing. So when the world will never stop treating the Jews as filth, they regrouped. Yes, they started regrouping. At that point, they learned one thing. Before the world can respect you, before anybody can respect you per se, I think you should get some power. In some instances, position is that power. In others, it is actually the money. The value, economic value, is the power that keeps some people or gives them the security that makes their lives a little bit better than ours. Power. So what did the Jews, what did they do? They started pulling their resources together, pull everything together. And they started investing in entertainment or media or manufacturing or arms production or everything the world needs, everything that the world sees. They became the fingers behind a lot of things in the whole world today. And then the Jews, they were locked and killed in concentration camps by Hitler. They became one of the most powerful race on earth today. And the powerful countries in the world either protects them or fears them. the Igbos can be described as the Jews of this Nigeria in this context. You know why? For no reason. I mean, to some of these bigots, I mean, it feels good to just don't like any Igbo. Sorry, you are married to Igbo. How come you hate the Igbos this much? See, it's not it. Now, damn. Let me share something with you. You see this image? The owners of this Ebano market, by Nigeria design, they are not Igbos. The two of them, they are from Delta states. Are you with me? But look at these guys. Because of the hatred or jealousy in their own bands, they are already eyeing Ebano supermarkets simply because Ebano, which means welcome. If I am still right, because I remember I had a very good brother who lived in our house in Lukweju. I can't remember his name again, but we used to call him Ebano, Mr. Benson. I remember his name now, Mr. Benson, Ebano. What is Ebano again, please? Anyway, I'll come back to that. So automatically, they would love a sort of war, something that will send the Igbos back to Eastern Nigeria and they won't come back again. We have seen them. We have witnessed what they are capable of. We know those behind them. They will do it again and again and again. Do you want to wait for another 4 years until another Igbos become targets before all of you try to become the Jews? Be the Jews. Save your people. Nigeria doesn't want you. The people in Nigeria have been so poisoned that even the good people that see this absurdity and they know where this is going to end, we are going to be a target too. I remember I was talking to Princess the other day. I said, it was like funny, but it wasn't funny. I was speaking to a friend. I was saying the same thing to a friend, and I said, listen, with this APC, Igbophobia, and with their vengeance that we know them for, even us that are Yorubas will not be spared. I said, maybe this will be the first time they are going to actually submit my name to the Interpol, frame something up, because people like us will never keep quiet. We know where this is headed. We do know. Because after the old charade, do you know they still went about today shooting, hunting Igbos, shooting them today? I can't share the video. They're bloody. Anyway, here is somebody they broke his leg. But you can be the Jews. Pull your resources together and start returning them back to Eastern Nigeria. Go back there and dredge your river. According to this miseducated, intentionally, ignorant people, they said Eastern Nigeria is landlocked. And majority of you have been agreeing with them. You need to begin to return your investment to Eastern Nigeria now. Don't wait until you have to live in a hurry. I am saying this with so much heartbreak. I know what this means. I know what the effect of what effect this is going to be on the people, even on the region. But whatever the effect, the people will survive. But if they should come the way they are planning, I don't think a lot of us will be able to reverse it. with what we have heard. Return back. Begin to review all your investments in Lagos. Go back there, and then, I mean, like I said, it's not as if to say you're going to miss anything in Nigeria anyway. I'll share something with you in a moment. If you are watching me right now, there is this saying by late Archbishop Desmond Tutu. If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. So I am going to take just 1 or 2 minutes break, okay? And I'm going to go and do some sanitation, all right? Especially on the YouTube, okay? We've had some straight people into that platform. So I want to go and do some cleaning. I will be back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. We'll continue soon.
You know what they call F level? When you get failure in all the subjects that you take. F9, F8, F9, F8, FF, double F. That is his name. All classes. You know what they call F level?
Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience, okay? So we have...